This is your step-by-step guide on how you can get grade 9 in GCSE English Literature. This video is part of a new series that I'm doing that outlines clear, actionable steps that you can take to get grade 9s in all of your GCSEs. My name's Tilly, I got 8 9s and 2 8s at GCSE, and I want to give you my top tips for each subject that can help you get those grades as well. So before you start revision for English Literature, kind of understand that you need to approach this subject in a very different way than you approach other subjects. And this is because, unlike subjects like maths and science, there is no link between the texts that you study. That sounds obvious, but obviously if you're talking about an inspector calls in your Macbeth answer, it doesn't really matter. You need to compartmentalise your revision, and I found this was quite easy to do because it's not actually that conceptually difficult. I'm not saying it's not difficult, I'm not saying that English literature is not a difficult subject, it's very difficult, or I found it very difficult, but it's not like maths, for example, when you're trying to understand why things are happening for a certain reason that you can't get your head around. Whereas like English, I feel like it's a lot easier to get in the mindset of the author, which is fundamentally what you're doing when you're evaluating what an author has done and why. But what makes English literature very difficult and what needs to be a key element of your revision is the fact that you've got so much content. 15 poems, that's just... I still don't understand why they do that. Remembering quotes for 15 poems is... You have to do it, unfortunately. Is it a good use of your time? Is it a good use of your brain capacity? It's not really relevant for this video, but you need to do it. Something that is very important to do when you're doing GCSE English Literature is to be making revision resources as you go along. The way I did this was I had a mind map for every single poem, every single character in each of my, I did Macbeth and Inspector Calls, every theme in each of those, poems, novellas, plays. And for each of these themes, characters and poems, identify the key quotes that you need to remember if a question comes up on that. Be doing this as you go along because you'll probably have lessons on, you might have a lesson on Lady Macbeth, for example. What are her key themes? Guilt. Question on Lady Macbeth comes up, or a question on guilt. What quote are we going to use? Probably something like out damn spot. It's been years since I did my GCSEs and that is just drilled into my memory. And if you have this for every theme, character, and then every text that you study, there is no way that you can do badly in the exam because you will basically already be prepared for it. You will have all of these pre-existing essay plans in your head. In the exam, you'll identify the character, the theme, and then you'll just have quotes that you know. For this GCSE, paragraph structure is incredibly important. It doesn't matter if you've been reading Macbeth since you came out of the womb, or whatever text you study, of Mice and Men or something. If you're not giving the examiner what they want to see, you're going to come out of that GCSE with a 3. In the exam, they want to see a specific thing. They want to see a point that you've made, evidence where this has been made in the text or within the extract or whatever you've been given. Then you need to explain why, why have they done this? Why does this show this? Etc., etc., the effects. And then analyse it, analyse the effect on the reader, analyse why the writer has done this, and link it back to the question. Everybody uses a different exam technique. A very basic one they teach is PEE, but I don't think that's enough. We always used to use PEEAZZ, but there are loads of different variations of this. I have loads of videos on this, so just check the playlist for that. So basically what this meant was point, evidence, explain, your basic P, and then you add analyse, what is the effect of this? Zoom in, hone in on a single word or phrase, analyse the literary techniques that have been used, zoom out as to why the author would do this in the context of the rest of the text, and then, link back to the question. And you have 8 assessment objectives in English literature. That's a lot. And at the end of the day, the only way to get better at doing this is just practice, 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 and practice under time conditions. Learn how to write fast. This sounds silly, but honestly, you just do not have enough time in that exam to put down everything on that page that you want to say. The point of doing exam practice for English literature is to learn how to work in a timed condition, learn how to not waffle, which is so hard because you you want to talk about loads of different things, but you just don't have time. You need to be clear, concise, to the point, but have these clearly defined and clear, strong chains of analysis to get those top band marks. And the only way to do this is by having a paragraph structure. This will keep you on track and stop you from waffling. Waffling it's so easy to do because you have so much that you want to talk about, but if it's not directly relevant, then it can stop your answers from being concise and to the point, and it can also make you run over time and not finish the papers. It's about finding that balance between being concise and to the point, but also elaborating to the degree where you can hit all of those marks and all of those evaluative marks, your analysis marks, and really get all of those assessment objectives under your belt. But they are the key steps to getting a grade 9 in English literature. You need to know the content, and there's a lot of content, so you need a lot of revision resources. So those are the two key steps for English literature. Going over the content, having all of these revision resources, and really knowing your stuff, but then being able to apply it in an exam setting, doing practice papers, doing them under time conditions, and getting your teacher to mark them, and then just scrutinising your answer to the degree where you're like, okay, maybe I did get 26 out of 30. Where did I miss those 4 marks? And if you can identify that, then you can make sure you don't make that mistake the next time. If you like this video, then comment what subject you want to see next, and follow for step-by-step guides on how to get grade 9s in the rest of your GCSEs.